family first. Russians took out Lorenzo, and I got a plan to get him back. Are you in?
Don't do anything reckless, you hear me?
No, your testimony. It's the only thing that will make him pay for his crimes.
So after one of the most explosive episodes of Power Book 2 goes so far, things will never be the same for the Tejadas or Tariq St Patrick. For the Tejadas, one word which I think describes the family since the beginning of A Ghost is dysfunction. They've never been on the same page whether it comes to their personal lives or business, and after Lorenzo's death, it's going to get a whole lot worse. Lorenzo was a man who was the family first, and his death will hurt Drew, Kane, and Diana all in different ways. But revenge will be on the cards for Drew, as we see him going after the Russians, but unbeknown to him, he's looking at his father's killer right in his eyes. Now this will cause chaos with the Russians, and we are going to see them attacking the Tejadas at Lorenzo's funeral. With Tariq St Patrick, his life will never be the same either, and the word I'd use to describe his situation is betrayal. We've been waiting for the moment that Tariq finds out about Lauren, and now that we're here, Effie and Braden better be ready for the wrath of Tariq. But as usual, we're going to run through the trailer for episode 6, bringing in all the other images and clues from previous teasers and trailers as well. Now the title for episode 6 is The Land of Lies, and the synopsis reads, Tariq demands answers after a startling revelation shakes up the relationship in his life, both business and personal. For the Tejadas, tragedy brings the Tejadas on the brink of war as they work with the Castillos to enact revenge. Now the Land of Lies means deception, betrayal, dishonesty, and it can be interpreted in a lot of different ways depending on the context. So for Tariq St Patrick, Effie and Diana, I am intrigued to see what they say in the classroom. Every comment made by Diana seems to be personal, and now that Tariq knows about Effie's betrayal when it comes to Lauren, I think Tariq's might be as well, which might raise some questions with Effie, because I can't imagine Tariq being able to be normal with Effie after what he's just found out.
Yo, how'd it go with Lauren? I given her a few calls, but she's not answering.
Lauren drove off without me.
At the end of season 2, Tariq put his trust in Braden to get Lauren out of town to safety, and according to Braden, that's what he did. But behind the scenes it was Kane, Effie and Braden who knew what the real plan was. All three of these characters are definitely all implicated, and they all thought she was dead after what it was reported in the news, where she died in a car accident. So it's not just Tariq's reaction I'm looking forward to seeing. I want to see how Kane, Braden and Effie all react. The real problem for Effie is she really has fallen for Tariq. She told him that she loves him in episode 5, and the next thing we're going to hear her tell Tariq in episode 6 is it seems like you've just seen a ghost.
Look like you've seen a ghost or something.
But the look that Tariq is giving Effie, I think she better have a very good excuse, which in my opinion I do think she does. Let's not get it twisted, she did go behind Tariq's back and she did betray him, but if she didn't betray him, where would Tariq be? I think he'd be in prison looking out 4 walls for quite a number of years, but Tariq doesn't see it that way. At what seems to be Lorenzo's funeral and where we're going to see to Tariq at Ghost's grave, Tariq says that he doesn't know who he can trust, and that pretty much sums up the game.
Trust no one.
Trust no one, because there are no friends in the streets. So let's see how Tariq navigates the Lauren secret, because I don't think it's going to be too long before we see him going at Braden as well as Effie. And based on some of the official season trailers and scenes, we're going to see Tariq confronting Effie in episode 6.
You want Tariq?
I want the truth.
Now it also now makes sense why at some point we will see Effie making a deal with Kane behind Tariq's back. She'll probably be out the business, but it does seem like Kane will have her back. Now not only will we see Tariq confronting Effie, I also believe this is the episode where we're going to see Grandma Estelle return, and in much better state than we saw her in season 2, and she's going to have some words for Tariq that might just irritate him. She's going to tell Tariq he's just like his father, but in his mind he believes he's better, he believes he's smarter. Now with Lauren, she tells Jenny that she wants her life back, and this is after Cooper Saxe blew up Jenny Sullivan and told Lauren that Tariq didn't do it, and he saw the look on his face when he found out she supposedly died. But Jenny's been manipulating and lying to Lauren for a while now, just so she can build this Rico, even though Lauren told her it was Effie who tried to kill her. Now with Saxe, I was on the fence after episode 5, would he continue working to help Jenny Sullivan, or would he completely turn, and it seems like Saxe is still trying to put Tariq St Patrick behind bars. Not necessarily for what happened to Lauren, but for all the other shit he's done. Saxe says what if her testimony is the only thing that will make him pay for all his crimes, and I think we have to be fair to Cooper Saxe. He's an OG who's been around for a while, and he knows Tariq St Patrick is far from innocent. He's committed countless of murders, helped others cover up murders, and he's also been in the drug game for a while. Saxe knows it, but just doesn't have enough evidence to prove it. But can he turn Lauren against Tariq after she's been lied to over and over again? Let's not forget what happened in season 2. She was manipulated by Professor Milgram, and that definitely left a bitter taste. So her relationship with law enforcement isn't the best. But regardless, she still is a problem for Tariq, the Tejadas, and everybody else. And for that reason, I still think she has to go. Now away from Tariq St Patrick and Lauren, we're going to see the aftermath of death with his funeral, and we hear Monet saying she's in charge now, so shit is about to look different. Now, one of the problems I have with Monet having Lorenzo killed is he was the protection and often worked as the glue. In season 1, Monet made a point of how Lorenzo's name gave her protection in the streets, and in season 3, he was able to repair his relationship with Kane to more of a father and son relationship. He corrected his mistake by asking Diana to stop pushing weight and said that's not the life he wants for her, and he came clean about what he did to Zeke, and he also made a very valid point.
You brought Zeke here. You put him in the middle of this life, and you didn't prepare him.
Everything Lorenzo said here was definitely right. Monet brought Zeke into this life but never prepared him for the dangers that comes with it. And Lorenzo did make a genuine mistake in trying to protect his family from someone Monet kept a secret, Dante Spears. But with Lorenzo now gone, I think we're going to see Kane continue with what Lorenzo taught him, family first. He takes a Jesus piece that he gave to him in season 2, and he says family first. But as they're walking out this funeral holding Lorenzo's casket, despite the scene not being in the episode 6 trailer, the Russians will attack, and that's because Drew seems like he struck first. Drew thinks it was a revenge attack from killing their connect in episode 3, and so we're gonna see Drew speaking to Gordo about getting revenge on the Russians. Now Monet tells him don't do anything reckless, but he refuses, and it goes back to my point about how despite Lorenzo's mistake and him making impulsive decisions, he still had some level of control over his family, whereas Monet won't, not yet anyway. So we're gonna see Drew speaking to Gordo without realizing he's not only just looking at the man who killed his father, he's also in bed with him as well. And when Drew finds out, this is gonna change the game for his character. We're definitely gonna see more of a ruthless Drew, but wait till he finds out it was Gordo who killed Lorenzo. I think this time around he's gonna pull that trigger on Gordo, something he should have done with Ev. So Gordo is one of my death predictions going into the second half of the season. Now something I think is worth mentioning is Evelyn mentioned she didn't want revenge. She wanted to keep her boy safe and protect her family that she has, but Monet took that decision out of her hands, so I would be intrigued to see how Evelyn reacts to Lorenzo's death, especially when she finds out it was Gordo. But that's the breakdown of the trailer for episode 6, the aftermath of Lorenzo's death, where we're gonna see his funeral, but the Russians strike him back after an attack from Drew, and this will cause absolute chaos with the Tejadas, with a fight starting between Drew and Kane, and Monet will try and get control, but Drew, Kane and Diana will all be wondering what's left after their father's death. Now with Tariq, we're gonna see him confront Effie and maybe even Brayden, but not only will this tear their relationship apart for the time being, it's also going to impact their business. Human Capital made a point of how each of these characters bring different skill sets to their organization, and without Effie and Brayden, some parts of their operation won't exactly be plain sailing smooth. For Effie, she needs to pay for her tuition, and she has a safety number in mind where she can leave the game behind. Now this is where she'll turn to Kane, but could their relationship be more if Tariq lets her go? Drop all your thoughts down below and let me know how you see this playing out after Monet had Lorenzo killed by one of the Castillos, and what's next for Tariq St Patrick and Effie. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.